The Dassault Rafale, literally meaning gust of wind and burst of fire, in a more military sense, is a French twin-engine canard delta-wing multi-role fighter aircraft designed and built by Dassault Aviation. Equipped with a wide range of weapons, the Rafale is intended to perform air supremacy, interdiction, aerial reconnaissance. The Dassault Rafale, literally meaning gust of wind and burst of fire, in a more military sense, is a French twin-engine canard delta-wing multi-role fighter aircraft designed and built by Dassault Aviation. Equipped with a wide range of weapons, the Rafale is intended to perform air supremacy, interdiction, aerial reconnaissance, ground support, in-depth strike, anti-ship strike and nuclear deterrence missions. The Rafale is referred to as an omnirole aircraft by Dassault. In the late 1970s, the French Air Force and French Navy were seeking to replace and consolidate their current fleets of aircraft. In order to reduce development costs and boost prospective sales, France entered into an arrangement with the UK, Germany, Italy and Spain to produce an agile multi-purpose future European fighter aircraft, what would become the Eurofighter Typhoon. Subsequent disagreements over workshare and differing requirements led to France's pursuit of its own development program. Dassault built a technology demonstrator which first flew in July 1986 as part of an 8-year flight test program, paving the way for the go-ahead of the project. The Rafale is distinct from other European fighters of its era in that it is almost entirely built by one country, involving most of France's major defense contractors, such as Dassault, Thales and Safran. Many of the aircraft's avionics and features, such as direct voice input, the RBE-2AA active electronically scanned array, AESA, radar and the optronique secteur frontal infrared search and track, IRST, sensor, were domestically developed and produced for the Rafale program. Originally scheduled to enter service in 1996, the Rafale suffered significant delays due to post-Cold War budget cuts and changes in priorities. The aircraft is available in 3 main variants: Rafale C single-seat land-based version, Rafale B twin-seat land-based version, and Rafale M single-seat carrier-based version. Introduced in 2001, the Rafale is being produced for both the French Air Force and for carrier-based operations in the French Navy. The Rafale has been marketed for export to several countries, and was selected for purchase by the Egyptian Air Force, the Indian Air Force, the Qatar Air Force, the Hellenic Air Force and the Croatian Air Force. The Rafale has been used in combat over Afghanistan, Libya, Mali, Iraq and Syria. The origins of the Rafale. In the mid-1970s, both the French Air Force, Armée de l'Air, and Navy, Marine Nationale, had requirements for a new generation of fighters to replace those in or about to enter service. Because their requirements were similar, and to reduce cost, both departments issued a common request for proposal. In 1975, the French Ministry of Aviation initiated studies for a new aircraft to complement the upcoming and smaller Dassault Mirage 2000, with each aircraft optimized for differing roles. In 1979, the French company Dassault joined the MBB, BAe, European Collaborative Fighter, project which was renamed the European Combat Aircraft ECA. The French company contributed the aerodynamic layout of a prospective twin-engine, single-seat fighter. However, the project collapsed in 1981 due to differing operational requirements of each partner country. In 1983, the Future European Fighter Aircraft (FEFA) program was initiated. bringing together Italy, Spain, West Germany, France and the United Kingdom to jointly develop a new fighter, although the latter three had their own aircraft developments. A number of factors led to the eventual split between France and the other four countries. Around 1984, France reiterated its requirement for a carrier-capable version and demanded a leading role. It also insisted on a swing-roll fighter that was lighter than the design favored by the other four nations. West Germany. The UK and Italy opted out and established a new European fighter aircraft (EFA) program. In Turin on 2 August 1985, West Germany, the UK and Italy agreed to go ahead with the EFA, and confirmed that France, along with Spain, had chosen not to proceed as a member of the project. Despite pressure from France, Spain rejoined the Eurofighter project in early September 1985. The four-nation project eventually resulted in the development of the Eurofighter Typhoon. Design phase and prototype in France, the government proceeded with its own program. The French Ministry of Defense required an aircraft capable of air-to-air and air-to-ground, all-day and adverse weather operations. Unlike other contemporary European fighter projects that required some level of international collaboration and cost-sharing, France was the sole developer of the Rafale's airframe, avionics, propulsion system and armament, and as such the aircraft was to replace a multitude of aircraft in the French armed forces. The Rafale would perform roles previously filled by an assortment of specialized platforms, including the Jaguar, Mirage F1C, CR, CT, Mirage 2000C-5, N in the French Air Force, and the F-8P Crusader. 800 IVP, M and Super 800 in French naval aviation. During October to December 1978, prior to France's joining of the ECA, Dassault received contracts for the development of Project ACT-92, Avion de Combat Tactique, meaning Tactical Combat Airplane. The following year, the National Office for Aviation Studies and Research began studying the possible configurations of the new fighter under the codename Rapace, meaning bird of prey. By March 1980, the number of configurations had been narrowed down to 4, 2 of which had a combination of canards, delta wings and a single vertical tail fin. In October 1982, the French Ministry of Defense announced that Dassault would build a technology demonstrator named Avion de Combat Experimental Combat Airplane (ACX). France wanted to collaborate with West Germany and the UK on the project, but was prepared to build the ACX by itself. In 1984, the government decided to proceed with a combat variant of the ACX due to the conflicting technical criteria of the respective FIFA participant nations. The resultant Rafale technology demonstrator was a large delta-winged fighter, with all-moving canards, embodying fly-by-wire (FBW) flight control system. Construction of the demonstrator commenced in March 1984, even before a contract was signed with the DGA, France's defense procurement agency. The technology demonstrator was rolled out in December 1985 in St. Cloud, and took its maiden flight on 4 July 1986 from Istres-le-Tourbet Air Base in southern France. During the one-hour flight, the project's chief test pilot Guy Mito-Maurouard took the aircraft to an altitude of 11,000 meters, 36,000 feet, and a speed of Mach 1.3. The 9.5-ton, 21,000 pounds, demonstrator stopped in 300 meters, 980 feet, upon landing. Throughout the flight test program, The Rafale A performed numerous day and night takeoffs and landings aboard the carriers Clemenceau and Foch to investigate the pilot's field of view during carrier operations. It reached a speed of Mach 2, 2,450 km per hour, 1,520 miles per hour, 1,320 knots, and a height of 13,000 meters, 42,000 feet. The demonstrator was initially powered by General Electric F404GE400 afterburning turbofans from the F/A-18 Hornet, instead of the Snecma M88. To reduce the risk that often comes with a first flight, and since the M88 was not considered sufficiently mature for the initial trials program. It was not until May 1990 when the M88 replaced the Port F404 in the demonstrator to enable the aircraft to reach Mach 1.4 and demonstrate supercruise, or sustained supersonic flight without use of afterburners. After 865 flights with 4 pilots, Rafale A was retired in January 1994. Thank you for watching this new video. More videos about aircraft next week.